Welcome and hello from Alex, with a story from r/TrueOffMyChest, where a woman vents about her ex's reaction to her significant weight loss post-breakup. Coming up next is a story from ThatReaderAlex. I finally lost weight and my ex thinks he has the right to be upset about it. This isn't going to be formatted well. I am literally just ranting because I don't want to seem like a bitter ex to my friends, but I am pissed and need to get it out. And to be fair to my ex, I did gain a fair amount of weight when I was with him, and he pushed me pretty hard to get better, which I tried. I went to the gym, ate better, did what I could, but even then the best I could do was to make the gaining stop. It was hell, and I felt like my body didn't belong to me. I hated it. After about 9 months of this, he left me because he wasn't attracted to me anymore. Entirely fair. I don't hold a grudge for that, or for blocking me and basically disappearing. That's his right. Though, I do think once you do something like that, you have to pony up and stick to it. I go off my birth control, and as I did I started dropping weight, almost 100 pounds in a matter of months. I had never experienced weight gain on that birth control before, but my doctor said the side effect must have just developed with prolonged use. I've been feeling great again, and happier than I have been since I was a teenager, until my ex caught wind of the weight loss. He has been blowing up my phone since that he feels betrayed, and asking why he wasn't a good enough reason to try, and all this other bullshit that honestly just made me mad. In what world does he have a right to be pissed what my body looks like half a year after we break up? That's a load of bullshit. I just blocked him without responding, and tried to move on, but one of his friends asked if I would talk to him, because he's been really broken up about the whole thing. Why is that my problem? He chose not to be my boyfriend, or my friend. He was the one who dumped me, dropped off the face of the earth, and somehow I am the bad guy for figuring out a health problem that plagued me for a fucking year. Nah, he can pound sand. Opie's ex sounds like a real piece of work, pressuring her to lose weight in a way that made her miserable, then leaving because of it. Yikes. Good on Opie for taking charge of her health and feeling fantastic. Losing almost 100 pounds is amazing. Completely agree with blocking the ex. He has no right to be upset about her weight loss, especially after dumping her. Why wasn't I good enough reason to try? That's a giant red flag. He should be focusing on himself, not trying to control Opie. Her friend asking her to talk to him is just baffling. Broken up about the weight loss. Sounds more like he's upset he doesn't have control over her anymore. Opie is absolutely right to move on. She's thriving and deserves to surround herself with supportive people. Maybe Opie can find some weight loss forums to connect with others who understand her journey. Here's to Opie's continued health and happiness. Coming up next is a story from Octopuscatarm. A stranger told me how I changed her life years ago and they never forgot me. I was out tonight with some of my girlfriends at my local dive bar and this random lady came up to me. We will call her Kim. Kim gently took my hands and asked if I remembered her, but I jokingly said no, but I am sure my ditzy drunk ass must have upset her, and I am so sorry for whatever I did. Kim stared at me for a few seconds then said if I was, my name. Now I have a very unique name, so for someone to remember it after years or even one time it's impressive to me but also worrying. Kim told me I did not at all upset her, but I helped and possibly saved her life and she never forgot me. I was taken back and asked what she meant by that. Kim started to slightly smile and told me how she came to this bar a few years back with some of her friends and then boyfriend. While they were out back having a smoke and I happened to be out there as well. I overheard the way her boyfriend was speaking to her and interjected myself. I introduced myself to Kim and asked if that was her boyfriend, and she nodded yes. I then turned to the guy and told him how rude and disgusting he was speaking to her and called out her friends for not speaking up. Kim said, at first she thought she was mad at me for humiliating her, but on their drive back home and her boyfriend yelling at her and punching the car roof about the way I spoke to him and how Kim didn't stand up for him, she started to think about how she thought the same thing I said earlier, but was gaslit the whole time that she was being dramatic. Kim stated how he was worse alone and her friends never were truly honest with her and allowed that treatment to happen. Kim said she finally had the strength to leave that relationship and friends behind and how she now helps strangers if she sees anything like that. Kim said she's been hoping to see me again because I was the only person willing to stand up for her even though I didn't know her at all yet gave her the reassurance that she didn't deserve that kind of treatment. I started to tear up when she was telling me because I've been horribly depressed and feel like a nuisance to people. Kim said without me interjecting like I did she would still probably be with him and continue the verbal and physical abuse. I've inspired her to not sit back and watch if another woman needs help and take action. I told her I feel bad since I don't remember that specific incident since it's been years, and I always call out abusive male behavior and also abusive women, but we aren't talking about that right now. And to me it was a small blip, but apparently to her it was life-changing, and it really made me realize how important it is to continue to speak out instead of just watch. Man, this story hits you right in the feels. Here you are, feeling down on yourself, and then this complete stranger comes up and tells you how you unknowingly changed her life. Turns out, that random act of kindness years ago was a turning point for her. It's a good reminder that the little things we do can have a big impact, even if we don't realize it at the time. You sticking up for her all those years ago gave her the strength to leave a bad situation. Pretty darn inspiring. Don't beat yourself up about not remembering the exact details. The point is, it mattered, and that's what counts. Maybe this encounter is just the pick-me-up you needed. Keep being that voice for those who can't speak up for themselves. The world needs more people like you. Coming up next is a story from Mysterious Rays 156, and if you like the video so far, don't forget to like the video. It only takes a second and helps me out a lot. My daughter, 14 female, came out to me, 40 male, and doesn't want my wife, 42 female, to know. My daughter and I are extremely close. She got a short haircut a week or so ago, and my wife's reaction was shocking. She wasn't supportive, and it's damaged her relationship with daughter. I took daughter out for a dinner and movie, and during dinner she told me that she liked girls. I am super supportive of her and gave her a big hug. She asked me if I would not tell her stepmother as she was worried about her reaction. I told her that I would not tell her as my daughter's happiness is everything. My wife and I were talking, and she was upset that daughter was not talking with her. I simply explained to her that her reaction with the hair has damaged their relationship. I went on a sort of long rant that daughter does not feel comfortable telling her anything. I am having trouble sleeping at night, and I can tell that daughter is struggling living with her stepmother. Daughter is in therapy and she seems to be doing better. She even told me that there is a girl in her class that she has a crush on. I've been having thoughts about divorce as I want the absolute best for my daughter. My wife still doesn't think she did anything wrong, and it's put a huge strain on our relationship. Ugh, this is a rough one. Totally get keeping your daughter safe, but secrets can backfire. Maybe have an honest talk with your wife. Focus on the haircut thing and how it hurt their bond. Therapy for your daughter is great, but maybe couples therapy could help too. United front for your kid, you know. In the meantime, you're being an awesome dad. Keep it up. Coming up next is a story from ProgrammerMassiveO. My, female 30, boyfriend, male 40, refused to sign his divorce papers because his ex showed up with a baby bump. My boyfriend and I have been together for a bit over a year now. He was married before and they broke up because my boyfriend wanted children. This was a couple of years ago. Now they have been separated for 2 years and can start the divorce. When I met him, he was honest with me about him wanting children, a dream I shared with him. He hadn't seen or talked to his ex since the separation. We were supposed to get engaged once the divorce is finalized, but they both need to sign the papers or it could drag. I was worried that she wouldn't sign because from what I heard from my boyfriend's family, she was crazy about him and didn't want a divorce. Little did I know that it would come from him. I went with him to her lawyer's office where they would make it final. I wanted to support him. She wasn't what I expected. She wasn't devastated like my boyfriend's family expected. She looked serene, beautiful, lovely, and totally over my boyfriend. She had her hand on her very pregnant belly. She was pleasant to me and she basically knew who I was. She cared so little to even act like she didn't know anything about her soon-to-be exes and his new girlfriend. She admitted that she knew through mutual friends and that she kept following his news. She was happy that he looked happy. My boyfriend was shocked. She asked how he was. Instead of answering her, he started yelling at her and shaking with anger, anguish. He refused to sign the papers and told her he would make her life miserable. She was very distraught, but he told her to stop acting confused. She knew what she did. He left. He even forgot that I was there. He just left. I half apologized, but she said that I didn't need to. She apologized instead. Then her lawyer asked if he could drive her home because he didn't want her driving while shaking. He asked me and I too needed a ride. I said that I could take an Uber, but he insisted. The drive was awkward. I found out that her partner was away on business and they have been together for almost 2 years. When I got home, I was exhausted. My boyfriend didn't call or text or anything. I called his mom and she said to give him time because he loved me and to be patient because he just needed time. But what time? This was Thursday. Today he came with breakfast and said that he needed time. I asked if he was signing the papers and he said no. Then that he didn't want to talk about it but to trust him that he needed time. In other words, he doesn't want to discuss what happened with me. Later, Opie actually posted an update on the story. Next day, I got her side of the story. I had a long talk with her and she was crying all the time and saying how sorry she was about what happened. They were together since they were 19 and very early both agreed that they didn't want children. They are both 40. About 4 to 5 years ago, she fell pregnant. He wanted to keep it but she didn't. Their relationship deteriorated rapidly after the abortion. According to her, he was very broken afterwards and she tried everything to make it work. She loved him and didn't want a separation. He ended the marriage anyway because he said that he couldn't stay together anymore. For her, she too had trauma after the abortion. When she fell pregnant with her new boyfriend, she decided that she couldn't do it again and decided to keep the baby even if the relationship is very new. Her boyfriend seems to be very supportive, but she said that even if he wasn't, she made the choice to keep her baby even if the father didn't want to be a part of it. So in other words, her abortion changed her as well as it changed my boyfriend. I believe her. She seemed very genuine. She said that she was happy that he had moved on and that she thought that I seemed great because she hurt him and he was always a great husband and partner and deserved someone great and amazing like him. I told her that my boyfriend probably thinks that she wanted children, just not with him. She started crying. She said that she wouldn't blame him for thinking that and that she doesn't know how she would make him believe that it wasn't the case. That when she had the abortion and was regretful, she couldn't burden him with her trauma and tell him that because she didn't want to put more salt to the wound, that her regret came too little too late. I don't know. I feel for her and for him. I want him to understand that things happen sometimes without it being someone's fault. She didn't reject him as a father to her children. Her experience with her own body is what changed, not her experience with him. Will he understand that and come to me? I love him and I want him to know that I have chosen him. Ouch, this is messy. Both your boyfriend and his ex have past trauma bubbling up. Sounds like that abortion messed them both up big time. Your boyfriend needs major time to unpack this. Anger, confusion, maybe even a flicker of hope, all swirling around. Give him space, even if it hurts. You deserve better than radio silence though. Maybe write him a love letter. Remind him you need him to talk eventually. This situation could make or break you guys. The ex, yeah, she's got her own issues. Try some empathy, even if it stings. This is his mess, but you can be there for him. Just take care of yourself too. This drama is exhausting. Coming up next is a story from SickThrowaway4455. My husband gave me gonorrhea. I, female 39, thought I had a UTI at first. Then my husband, male 43, was sick, so I thought maybe we had caught something while on our trip. We had just had a trip for our anniversary. It wasn't the flu, we had gonorrhea. I had the results double-checked because of how shocked I was. When I confronted my husband, he said one of us caught gonorrhea before we met and it has been dormant until now. We've been married for 14 years and we dated before that. It wasn't until after I showed him articles about gonorrhea on my mobile to prove it that he admitted he's been playing away with other women. It's taken me over a month to process this and I am still in shock. I've hired a solicitor about a divorce. We have a 13-year-old daughter and I am afraid how the divorce will affect her. However, I can't stay married to him either. I've made appointments for both my daughter and I to see a counselor. This has absolutely destroyed me. This whole situation sounds infuriating. Betrayal on that level is a massive blow. Getting a lawyer is a smart move. Focus on protecting yourself and your daughter. Counseling is a great idea. It'll help you both navigate this mess. As for your husband's lame excuses, don't waste another minute on them. He needs to face the consequences of his actions. This divorce might be ugly, but staying would be worse. You deserve better, and so does your daughter. Stay strong. This will be tough, but you'll get through it. There are people who care about you and want to help. Focus on them and building a new life for yourself and your daughter. That wraps up r/TrueOffMyChest. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to visit my Spotify channel. Link is in the description, so you can listen to the best Reddit story while being outside, and remember to hit that subscribe button.